Hello and welcome to Walking the Earth podcast. I'm your co-host, Justin Castle, along with Michael Margulies.
Hello.
Hi.
Today we have a special guest on our podcast. Today we have Tom from England.
Hey man, hey guys out there, how you doing?
Hello.
Welcome to the show, Tom.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we Tom and I are actually sitting in Goa, in Arambol right now. This is actually my second run into Arambol, and I thought Tom had a really interesting story, and so I wanted to bring him on to talk a little bit about it.
Do you want to tell how we met first, or
Sure, go ahead.
like in a little beach shack on where like nobody really goes, but there was just a massive kind of congregational party going on, and loads of the most random things ever happening, including a Ukrainian drum band where some guy was playing a false leg.
Yeah, that was awesome. I have a
the
video
weirdest thing
shot of
ever.
that, actually. I can post that.
Wait, so
Yeah,
somebody was literally playing a fake leg as a
Yes.
instrument?
Hooked under his armpit and just playing it like, I don't know, some kind of Shiva third arm. It was ridiculous.
It was amazing.
But they were good, weren't they?
Yeah.
And I think that brought the vibe. Like Mike was doing what I would pursue to be his kind of like usual thing, where he's got his camera out and he's covering some footage.
Yeah, this was something actually back in the day. Actually, Justin and I used to have this series called Shenanigans in high school, and we would just videotape random stuff. And recently, it just occurred to me, why don't I just do this again?
Yeah.
Start filming random stuff. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but I figure if I get a bunch of raw material, I can edit it later. You know.
No, I don't know, man. That sounds good. Yeah, I think it's best to have it. Then you can kind of do what you want with it when you've finished. So
Very
yeah,
cool.
so we were in the beach hut. We've got back to this after a little tangent, and I started telling Mike about how I got to India. So basically, I don't really know where the seed of this idea came from, but me and my friend were hitchhiking from Amsterdam to Oslo last year, and I think we were drunk, like totally imbibed at this one point. I think we were. It's kind of a crazy idea, so we said, hey man, we need to do some more kind of like nomadic style traveling. And I've heard about people cycling long distance. Why the hell don't we just cycle to India from England?
Whoa. Holy crap, man.
Yeah, we both kind of had like a girl on the side at the time that we were both interested in. I kind of went back to Amsterdam, he'd gone back to England. Things were not working how we wanted them to really work. So we were calling a lot, like you guys do. And we just said, man, like, should we do this? Should we actually just get some bikes and go? And the answer was yes. That's how I got here, covering like 17 different countries and about 16,000 kilometers over, I don't know, about 8 months. Yeah.
8 months.
I heard this and I was like, wow.
That's incredible.
I was like, you need to be a guest on this podcast.
Oh man, no, it's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you didn't bike across from England to mainland Europe.
Oh, we talked about this little
we did talk about
pedantic period that Mike had. Yeah. Well, there's a few more pedantic periods as well. Okay, so we cycled to Hull. Have you got that, Justin? Do you want to translate that or Hull?
Hull?
What is that?
Spelled Hull.
Is
Okay.
this a city in England?
Yeah. It's a small city, like on the coast. So we took an overnight ferry to Rotterdam, and then basically cycled up to Amsterdam, where we took a week off straight away. We had like another fundraiser, so like another part of the trip is that we're raising money for homeless kids all around the world, and also for a hospice foundation, which is more kind of like for a bereavement fund, which deals predominantly with older people, but also the younger people dying within like the local communities where we're from. So yeah, that's the two that are going out there. We had another fundraiser in Amsterdam, basically to like organise and attend with all of the friends there. We stayed around for a week, of course. You always do in Amsterdam, or more. You can't ever really leave.
It's easy to get stuck there.
The day we left, we wanted to stay because it was like a huge snowstorm hit us. Oh my lord!
And you
Were
were
you staying in the red light district?
No.
well. I wanted to ask you. So you were cycling in the wintertime through Europe.
Yeah.
It's
Wait,
funny.
on
This
a
is now
bike.
Cycling the Earth podcast, I think.
Cycling.
We wanted to do it from the saddle, actually, but we cycled. If you consider from Amsterdam probably to Vienna, it was cold. Like we're talking -7, snow, inches of ice sometimes on the roads. When it did kind of heat up, you'd sometimes within like the forest, you'd get sheets of black ice.
Wow, I didn't even know this
So,
part.
yeah, I mean, like, we hit the deck a few times without the GoPro recording it, which really sucked.
Wow.
Because one time I hit the deck, my bike stayed, like, where I was supposed to stay, and I just carried on, like, skeleton bobbing it down, like,
Whoa.
the middle of this mountain road, but, like, surrounded by, like, the forest. But it was actually, it didn't hurt. I don't know what it was, or whether it was just so smooth. my cheeks were fine, yeah, so...
Whoa.
That's
so
incredible.
you just, like, bit it, basically.
Yeah, I totally bit it, and then Reese, my cycling partner, he came around the corner a little bit slower, which is probably more educated kind of idea of things.
Yeah.
But he stopped where my bike was, and literally as soon as he put his foot on the ground, he fell and hit the dirt as well.
Oh my
Same
God.
spot, we've got two of us, but like we just giggled. We were laying around in the road. I mean, it was so quiet. Just laying around in the road in like minus conditions, just laughing.
Holy shit.
Can you imagine like the peculiarity of that?
You know, it's funny now. Sorry, I guess real quick, what I was going to say is the thing that strikes me is you told me last night that you cycled, or not last night, whatever night we met, that you cycled to India, and that alone was impressive to me, and that was a story of itself. I didn't even realize that you're cycling through black ice, falling down in the middle of who knows where. Like, this is a really intense...
There's some, what I call like cheap blogs on our website, which is saddlesaw.moonfruit.com.
Yeah, plug it, man. Go ahead.
And we had this one time in the north of Turkey. We were using like Google Maps on my friend's iPhone, and it suggested that we took like the scenic route by the Black Sea, which that of course we wanted to do, but we wanted to hook up with this route like called like the E20 or something, like a major road along the north. But as we came around this little area, it took us onto a mud track, and suddenly there was like fencing, like big fencing with barbed wire on the top, and cows on one side and then cows on the other. And we thought, what a weird way, a peculiar way of kind of like segregating cows. It's a bit strange. But we could see the road where we wanted to be at the top of a hill, like through some pickly bushes, so we started going up there. And there's a few bones on the floor. This is when we start to get a little bit worried. And we hit the top of the hill, and there's another fence there with barbed wire, and we're like, oh my lord, what do we do now? Okay, drop the bikes, you go left, I go right, look for a hole. We're now realising that we're the ones fenced in. Yeah, how the hell did we even get into this place? We couldn't find anything, so we started to try and walk like back around the fence a bit further. Found a hole with a sign on it, but on the other side. And as we get through, it said forbidden. Okay, with a picture of a
Which
military
country is
man.
this again?
This is Turkey.
Okay.
Yeah. Once we got around the corner,
So how
we saw it was
did you
alive.
get into this, like...
I don't know, there was just no gate on the other side, and then we get around the corner on the main road, and it's a live military firing zone.
Whoa.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so we didn't really stop to get any more details. We just kind of held our abdomens and ran.
Oh,
You ran through the military zone?
Well, with bikes, oh yeah, man. Like, this kind of crazy thing happened too much. I mean, maybe I'd like to say now, thank you very much, Google Maps, for taking us on such great adventures. But at the time, I felt a bit insecure.
Let me tell you, I don't trust Google Maps to get me to work. you're going from
much
England
less get you cycling
to
India from Amsterdam.
Yeah, it's... Well, I mean, yeah, even when we left England, my friend's... For some reason, he didn't have battery on his iPod. Not on his iPod, on his iPhone. And we set off at like 8 o'clock in the morning. And all I had to do was just like ask my mum and dad, because I don't know this area of Yorkshire, what are the main towns to get me to Hull? And we just wrote them down. We didn't even have a map. So we were just asking local people as well, like, which way is it? Oh, it's like 20k down there. You'd be there in 10 minutes.
Well, that's kind of like what I'm doing here, right? Too. Like in India, it's like, okay, I need to get myself to Hampi. So I just ask someone, hey, what's the right way? And I mean, it's almost, the way I view it now is when you're backpacking or cycling or doing this kind of an adventure, improv has to be like a skill. So I did improv comedy back in Houston.
That's cool.
And I'm using that now as improv as a lifestyle. It's learning how to just whatever you have to do, wherever you have to be. Sometimes you got to make shit up as you go along.
So you familiar with? Is it? What's the thing up in Chicago, the big improv club.
Yeah. What's that one, Justin?
Are you talking about Second City or
Second City? Yeah.
I worked for a company in Amsterdam called Boom Chicago.
Oh, I've heard of them.
Yeah, that was quite a funny little job doing a bit of promotions for them.
Yeah, Justin, you're doing improv in New York now, right?
Yeah, I'm going to be taking another class at Upright Citizens Brigade, and I just started doing stand-up in the area. So I'm up and coming, so not quite there yet. But Boom Chicago, I know some people who went and they did like a tenure out in England, right?
Uh-huh.
And it's just like a sister theater company, right? With I think one of the ones in Chicago.
I think so. Yeah, I think it's something. The guys come from Chicago originally, so I can imagine it been whether they either took the idea. I'm not sure. They've got an interesting story themselves, but yeah, you need to get into like the inner circle, penetrate the inner circle before you talk to these boys.
Were you doing improv with them, or just going to their shows? Or?
No, I was like promoting the shows.
Oh, nice.
I was the tout, stood out front, but I kind of took it in my English stride, especially with the, how do I say this to you guys, especially to the American tourists coming around, like with this kind of, I'd use a more southern, like Russell Brand kind of persona there. Dance around with my brothel creepers on, with my pointy shoes and long cardigan, and
so you're like
ladies through the door,
yeah.
You're a herder.
Ushering people into the improv show.
Yeah, selling them food, getting all of the the money off of this, and it was good money, man.
So this is what you did in Yorkshire before?
I was doing that in Amsterdam.
In Amsterdam, okay.
Yeah, like I went back to England for maybe 6 weeks. I've been in England 6 weeks this year. And like the last 2 years, I think maybe 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
But I've been traveling now for maybe 6 years on and off.
That's amazing. See, this is like, these are the kind of stories that I think, at least in the U.S., when I was growing up, and Justin, I think you have a similar feeling about this. We didn't hear these kind of stories, right? Because we grew up.
No.
And the stories we heard were, well, here's how you're supposed to live life. You get your degree. We grew up in suburban, middle-class America, so, okay, you get your college degree, you get good grades there, you get a job, and then maybe you get a graduate degree, because that's, of course, going to set you up for an even higher career, and you work the next 40 years, you're going to get married, have kids, and this is kind of like...
nuclear family.
Yeah, and this is the story of what one is supposed to do to live a life, to live a happy, comfortable, secure life. And I'm always, as I'm backpacking now, I find more and more people that are living life in alternative ways. And it's not to say, I'm not here to shit on anyone else. If raising a family is beautiful, and that can be one of the most rewarding experiences for any person on the planet. The part where I felt personally like, I need to, it wasn't for me right now. And by traveling, I meet people like you, and I see like, okay, there's other ways to do this thing. So you've been traveling for 6 years now. 6 years. Way longer than I've been, 3 months doing this thing, right?
Yeah, dude, it comes though. Like I think it's all about embracing it. Like different forms of traveling. A lot of people really think that traveling is such an expensive thing. And the guy who I was originally, my friend Reese, who's now on a 5-star trip in Istanbul for 10 days, courtesy of mummyandaddy.com, he thought I was like totally loaded, daddy rich, from our town Harrogate. I'll give the little place a shout out, and I'll come around to some more weird stuff about that later.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll love that part as well. But like, he thought I was daddy rich, so I started working in this rock and roll bar for him. He was my boss, and I told him, no man, you can go away, you can travel, you can couch surf. He said, what the hell's this couch surf stuff? You go, like you write to somebody in a social network kind of environment, you read their references, you see if they're vouched for, etc., etc. Maybe you change a few mails, and then you go and kip on their couch, like sleep on their couch, or they have a spare room sometimes.
Couch surfing is amazing, and people are so scared of it. Like, I'm not going to message some random person on a social networking site and sleep on their couch.
Or let them stay at mine.
Or let them stay at mine, but it's not like that. You read their, like you said, you read their reviews, they seem legit, you talk to them a little bit, and most of the time these people they aren't going to couch surfing because they're trying to screw you over and steal your stuff.
No.
They're just also the same type of people. They're travelers. They want to meet other travelers.
Of course, and then in that community, you have your different types of people, of course, as well. So, like,
of course.
I will read through quite a lot of profiles before I pick my people.
Yep.
And maybe write 4 in a city. And if I don't get a reply, then why would I want to stay on this person's couch when I perceive that I already don't like the way the direction is going from what I've seen, right? What I've read.
Exactly.
Right.
But on this trip... Huh? Sorry, Justin?
Go ahead. I just wanted to direct you back to what you were saying about, couch surfing and other resources. Like, the first thing that pops into my head is you've been doing it for 6 years. Where do you get the funding from? So a lot of it sounds like people are putting you up on couch surfing. Have you worked intermittently in between different stints on the road?
That's the thing.
This is actually the coolest part, I think. I remember you telling me about this.
Like, either I'm working as I go around, so like doing some freelance journalism.
Talk about the freelance journalism part, because I think this is really fascinating. Actually.
Well, it kind of started originally like when I was cycling around Iceland. One of my Dutch friends that I met like 5 or 6 years ago now, she was working for a Dutch travel magazine, basically said, hey, you're going there. We want somebody kind of on the local side of things. I know you go and talk to the locals, you get heavily involved with the area. So would you write for our company? It was like, yeah, sure. Like, how much are you going to pay me? Just been cheeky. And she said, I think it was about £800 or so. And in the end, I was doing that for charity as well.
For US, it's like $1,000 US dollars?
No, it's much more. It's like more. 1.4 maybe.
Wow.
1.3.
Man, pound's got a good exchange rate to the dollar.
We do,
right now.
yeah.
It sucks for us in the US.
Still living that dream. But yeah, like I started just doing this and then kind of writing off to other magazines, and now with this kind of trip, people have been coming to us with Twitter actually, and saying like, hey, we want to do a portfolio on you or specifics for cycling, which is very strange because we don't consider ourselves cyclists. We consider ourselves as travelers that just use cycling as a form of transport.
Right.
And when you start doing this in certain countries where you meet lots of other cyclists, you really find the people that are just like me. They are just up for the party. They want to find a cheap place to stay where there's a party going on. They want ladies. They want the thrill of the road. But they're saving so much money by cycling, and they're loving the adventure of like fighting for every inch.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? Like that thing, sometimes you just don't know what you're going to get. Around every corner, it's probably the most free experience I've ever had.
You know what I find really... So what you were saying to me when you told me this the first time a few nights ago, it inspired me because I realized, wow, I have all these thoughts and ideas. Really, if I'm doing a freelance kind of thing, right, I can just write about any topic I want.
Sure.
And then if I have a complete article, paper, whatever, I can go around to different papers, whatever, and sell them and say, hey, do you want this idea, yes or no? And most likely, if I write something that's good, someone's going to want to buy it, and I can
You got to keep knocking on that door, though.
Keep knocking on that door, exactly. Not everything's going to hit.
No.
But if I just keep writing things that are interesting, that other people would also find interesting.
Yeah, we were chatting about Bukowski, weren't we?
About who?
Charles Bukowski.
Maybe.
And how he was doing like his short stories, and maybe Hunter S. Thompson as well. Just
Hunter
like,
S. Thompson,
of course. Writing them out and sending.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Hunter S. Thompson just writes a whole bunch of crazy stories. And
sure, but I mean, if you're writing and you enjoy writing, then it's got to come out of you. I read something where this guy said it's like a breath every day. You have to do this to breathe, man. Like so.
But the distinction, I think, the key distinction is you're not. When you say working as a journalist, it's not like some person hired you and they're your boss and you are writing the articles they tell you to write. It's more like, at least the way I was reading it and the way I want to take it is sort of write about things that are interesting.
Yeah. That
to me, there are plenty of things. And then once I have an article, I can sell that article to someone.
Sure, even if you're getting free spots at first, though, like just send them out.
Just put it out there into the ether.
Get your name out there.
So, Tom, I wanted to ask, so besides, we're talking about the journalism. Are you... there's two parts to this question. Are you affiliated with any other international, like NPR type of organizations, or?
Funny you said that, NPR. Oh my God, this take.
Everybody, I'm sure everybody asks about that.
No, they emailed us when we were in Armenia, saying they wanted to do like this, like a kind of radio conversation for one of their travel sections.
Yep.
And we were like, who the hell is this NPR? Like, of course we're used to the BBC. So we checked them out, and we asked some American friends of ours, and they were like, yeah, man, they have like 6 million listeners a day or something. And we were like, oh, for our website, that could be amazing. We emailed them back, and this woman just went into the void. She just disappeared. And then I started tweeting like NPR as well and saying like, hey, what's going on here? You know, like nothing. Whereas other magazines just out of the blue have come and hit us up. Like, but we have been doing a kind of bi-weekly newspaper piece for a local newspaper in England, which is kind of keeping donations coming in. You get some people kind of seeing some things that we've written about certain countries.
Right.
And saying like, oh, we really like this. Yeah, we didn't know about this. Or I really like the piece that you wrote. So here's £10 towards this or £20. And that really gives you a good boost. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it really keeps you know.
And
you know,
go ahead. Sorry.
NPR is the type of thing that I'd listen to it every morning on my way to work before I moved to New York. Like they have national syndication in the U.S. They've got affiliates all throughout the world, and that's kind of cool. We got the edge on NPR on this story. So
yeah,
screw you guys.
NPR lost out on this story, man. That's why I jumped on it. You know, I want to come. Another thing I really liked that you said earlier, Tom, was it's the idea that people have that if you're going traveling, oh, you must be so loaded, must be mommy and daddy money, right? Actually, that's the same question I got asked when I was quitting my job. The guy who was in the office next door to me came by and he said, "Oh, wow, you're just going to go traveling? What, did you just come into a whole bunch of money?" You know, and I'm looking at him, I'm like, "No, man, it's not expensive." I think folks have this idea in their head that traveling is this super expensive endeavor. I mean, the place I'm staying in right now. So we're sitting in a room, pretty nice. Room actually.
You get to say this is nice, when you start traveling. Yeah, this is nice.
This is a nice room, and I'm paying 400 rupees a night. 400 rupees is equivalent to what is that, like $6 or something like that?
Yeah, probably about it.
Something like that. It's not expensive. Or couch surfing, like you said, that's free, and all you have to do is meet somebody who's also cool and hang out with them. Win-win.
We tend to always cook them a meal, actually.
Yes, and sometimes you pay it back to them. Sometimes I'll get them a gift. I remember I mentioned my friend Arambol in the first podcast, who took care of my friend Samar. So I didn't tell you about the story, but when I first arrived in India, I stayed in Mumbai with my friend Arambol, and well, I didn't know him at the time. He was a random stranger then, but now he's a friend of mine. And my friend got sick, and he took care of her. So we got him a nice book he was really into architecture and pictures. So you do things like that for someone. You get them a little gift, or
sure.
And that's like, I think though that's a key point. I love to. If there's any message I want to send, and it's not for me to send messages per se, just to give perspectives to people, other perspectives, and let them decide for themselves. But I think one thing it's very misunderstood is it doesn't cost a lot to travel.
No.
And for me at least, and other people like you and me that we meet, it's a fulfilling lifestyle. Is there more risk involved? Damn right there is, right? You don't have this secure job of I know exactly what date my paycheck's coming in, exactly how much it's going to be. I know exactly where I'm going to be living in a week. You don't know all those exact things. It's a little bit of chaos. But
that's exciting, I think, yeah.
Exactly. That's why I love it. And it's not for everybody. Not everyone can thrive in that kind of chaos. They don't like that.
Sure, and I think going back to what you're saying about people thinking things are very expensive is because, like you were talking about before, where you guys are from middle-class America, the same, we're exactly from a bubble town in the north of England. People don't do this. They go away for their 2-week holidays.
Right. And they spend lavish amounts of,
Yeah, you go and spend, thousands of pounds on a hotel for the family to go to, and it's like an occasion. You go with your friends or so.
Right.
And in that, a lot of the people will already have their food included, their drinks included, and be an all-inclusive holiday, and maybe not even leave the compound.
I mean, those places are catered to that specific type of vacation.
Exactly, and that is still traveling. That is still traveling.
Of course.
It's just, there's totally different ways of doing things, isn't there? And they would probably hate to do my way, and
Exactly.
I don't know. I mean, Justin, what do you think on this?
No, I completely agree with you. I think. Sorry, Justin. Go ahead. You were going to say something.
Hey, Mike, is your name Justin?
Sorry. I thought you said, "What do you?" I didn't even hear him say Justin.
You want to fight, punk? I will come through this
Let's
microphone.
fight.
I will punch
Dude,
you in the mouth. I will punch you in the mouth.
I know jujitsu. Okay, I have 3 or 4 black stripes on my white belt.
Does it help that I've got Fresh Prince shorts on?
Huh?
Does it help that I've got the Fresh Prince's shorts
No,
on?
it's like full pants, man.
Fresh Prince of Bel Air shorts.
Like shorts, dude. If you had the camera on, I bought these amazing
he's got
things
these
in
pretty cool
Budapest.
shorts. We'll take a picture.
Pretty cool. That's like saying a girl's kind of pretty.
Yeah, I like
She takes that to her as an insult.
Sorry, Justin. I didn't mean to start a fight there. What were you going to say?
No fight. I think that I'm just listening to you guys talk about this, and to be honest, just jumping up and going on that leap of faith is causing me a panic attack right now.
Oh yeah.
And the question that I want to ask you guys is because I've gone through everything has to be so calculated. I'm very conservative. Okay, It took me almost a year or 2 years just to move from one part of New York to New York City. Like, it was calculated. I had to have a job. I had to have a place to live. I had to have the proper funding. Otherwise,
Sure.
I wouldn't have done it. I'm not the aggressive decision maker where all of a sudden I'm just going to go. I'm just going to jump up and move to a city. And, if I don't care, I don't have a job, I don't have a place to live, I'll just go with it. And I want to know, Tom, for you in particular, because Mike, I know your story. Tom, I want to know, what's the decision process and the thought that sparked all this traveling and journeying 6 years ago? Was it one particular event, or is it something that you've always wondered, or
always wanted to do?
Yeah, what sparked that?
I think actually it's because when I was younger, and like I was describing, we come from this bubble town. My parents were like, the kind of, I'm an only child as well, which people seem to think you're spoiled. But we grew up kind of going to, I don't know if you know, like a caravan park, which you guys would probably say like trailers.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, we'd go to like these places on the coast, always in England. And I would come back to school like after a break, and there was a lot of friends that had always been to Florida or on safari in Africa or something. And hearing all these stories that they were telling, like from a young age, I think just made me want to do it. And I'd be playing with like the kids on the back street at the same age, not a weird way. And then like they were kind of saying, "Where are you going traveling and stuff?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I want to go on safari." And I knew I wasn't going on safari, but I was making these things up. And I think when I got to the right age, I'm leaving like high school. I'm leaving sixth form, like this step before college. I really thought, right, I'm going to work for a year, and then I'm going to go and do this. Just absolutely do it. And in your sense, Justin, I was kind of similar at 19. Because I wanted to have money and I didn't know how long I was going for, about 9 months. I didn't know how much it would cost, so I kind of wanted to have money behind me there. But as soon as I'd done that first trip, then it was a no-brainer. I kind of like came back and just worked for 2 months, stayed with my parents, and then I was off again. Like just the first flight out, the next flight to somewhere else where I could go see some people I already knew or discover something that I was interested in. There's not that much of a thought process. It almost gets like a kid at Christmas as well. Like I start getting really anxious, really excited, but at the same time, like I'm not sure whether I'm going to miss someone or how long I'm going to be away for. So it's strange. I don't really know if there's much thought process goes into it all the time.
I think the first time you do it, maybe there's a whole lot of thought process, right?
There's flights included then,
where you're thinking, there's a flight, and you're thinking about, same position you're in, Justin, where the way you're trained in the Western world is to work, to think about these things really thoroughly. For me, at least, I found once I went backpacking, those concerns kind of started to dissolve because I realized, this isn't so. Here's an example. This week, I've lost so many things. I've lost 3 different pairs of shoes. I lost 1 pair of shoes, 2 pairs of sandals, and I lost countless things this week because I don't know. I got in this realm where I stopped caring as much, and so I just kind of let things get lost. And it didn't bother me. Normally if I lost some shoes and all my footwear, I'd be really sad. But you know what? As it turns out, I had a pair of jeans that also got ripped. You know what I did yesterday was I had a piece of the jeans that was ripped off. This other girl we met, same night I met Tom, actually, this girl, Becky. I met up with her yesterday randomly, and she helped me create shoes out of my jeans. So it was this kind of interesting experience to say, wow, I lost all this stuff, destroyed all these things, and wow, but now I've created something new that I wouldn't have had otherwise.
They're like fancy Frodo slippers, though.
Yeah, they are.
Well, you need to take some of your beard hair and then put it on your toes, and you could be a hobbit.
Yeah.
Good call.
You look so old with a beard.
Oh man, you're just gonna have a tan line like.
No, hobbits don't wear shoes, man. Hobbits have hairy feet.
No, but then that's why they're fancy.
They have sandals.
When they go to the ball.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. So for special occasions, they
Yeah.
wear shoes. But they have to show their feet off.
What else? Why else would I be saying fancy hobbit shoes?
I was going.
So Justin as well. With you not doing so much traveling, how would you find it when I say we cycled through Iran?
Yeah.
The Islamic Republic of Iran, and been from the United States, this kind of different views coming into play. What are your typical stereotypical ideas on Iran, first of all?
I mean, all right, here's, when you say you cycled through Iran, is that correct?
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, it wouldn't be my first choice of vacation place and or cycling place. Yeah. Second of all, I would love to go and visit and see places such as Iran, but I can't even imagine it right now. One of my former boss actually was from Iran and spoke very highly of it, and he's a great guy, very smart, very bright, and just based on what he says, I would like to see it, but it's not my first choice. I wouldn't be caught going anywhere near there, especially while there's no conversations that are being positive at this point in time between the U.S. and there. Like you coming from England,
we still have an interesting background with Iran.
Yeah,
it's definitely very interesting.
A lot of it, I think, is media, though, if you think about it, right?
Hugely. I mean, the people there. When I talk about one of my favorite words is hospitality. The Turks were unbelievable. Like, we'd be camping on a beach and some man would come out and just say, breakfast is ready. And we're like, what? And then we'd just go into his family home and he would just throw plates of food at us. And this would happen lots of places in Turkey. In Iran, the people were even nicer. Even nicer than this. Whereas we're cycling maybe 200k from a big place there's a place called Persepolis, which was burnt down by Alexander the Great, I think.
Alexander the Great.
Yeah. It's burnt down by him, or his drunken wife had said to burn it down.
Why do we call those people great? The people that killed and murdered
destroyed.
and we call them the great.
It's perspective great, I think.
The people who win write history.
Yeah. But we're 200k from here, and this guy stops his truck just in front of us, full of tomatoes, and he's asking us if we want some. Where are we going? We said, we're heading to Persepolis in Shiraz. He said, I live just by Persepolis. You call me when you get there. Here is my number. You come and stay with me and my family for as long as you want, food, everything. And we were like, okay, this has already happened to us in Iran already. Mm-hmm. But we go down to this guy's place, and it was the most genuine thing. He wanted to know everything about our country, about my friend from Norway's country as well, about Norway. He just wanted to know everything about us and help try and be educated a little bit from us. Of course we had our questions as well, and we really wanted to know what they thought about the West.
Right.
And I tell you what, so many people there really want to go to the States.
Yeah.
They want to study in the States, and
wow.
And we also asked this, but you have Norway over here, and it's one of the best welfare states in the world. Mm-hmm. And it's quite open door policy for migrants. And Sweden next door also had a very interesting thing with people from Central Asia. So have you ever thought about this? And our friend was kind of saying, but the language. We were but they speak better English than we do. So what's your problem? I don't know. I think everybody does tend to think of the States maybe as an immigrant mecca. Would you say that's
interesting?
Yeah,
I don't know. It's hard for me being inside the States to say.
I mean, we have a lot of diversity
in America. Well, it's like a lot. Your stereotypical Americans is like, get out of our country. This is America. You know,
Sure.
You have some of that going on.
And again, I'm there. You do see those places, and I went from one of the most, ethnically undiverse places in the world to one of the most ethnically diverse places in the world, living in Astoria, New York, and it's incredible. I love it. You see, you hear 10, 15 different languages walking on the street, going to work. And you have some of the best food I've ever had in my life is in this area, and I'm very thankful for the experience. And I wish that I could have the same exact experience, not the same exact, but a similar experience to you, and get to hang out with these people. Like I can imagine, like when you were describing cycling and then being invited in for dinner and sitting with all these people, I can picture it in my head. And I imagine it just like you saw Forrest Gump, right? I'm Hope.
Yeah. I actually saw it the other day.
It's on everywhere. It's such a great movie. But I imagine when he's running across the country and like people are just being nice to him and just want to.
Wherever I was going, I was running.
And like I imagine you've got your own posse. It's you and your buddy, and you're just stopping at these different places, interacting, affecting all these other people's lives, and not even realizing it. You're just running. You're just cycling.
Yeah, maybe. And we had our little kind of posse sometimes as well. Like people do join you, like to cycle in areas when you do meet other long distance cyclists. And you are kind of a group apart from the day cyclists that wear the whole Lycra suits and they've got their road bikes.
Yeah.
They're fantastic. They're amazing bikes. But we met the first guy we met was in Austria. Was it Slovakia? Slovakia maybe. And throughout the countryside was like just a country road, like perfect, amazing tarmac. But it's only for cycles, for bicycles. This was like ridiculous to us because you can really get up the pace. We met this guy, Machu. And he was just smoking a rolling cigarette. And there's all of these other fitness freaks, like cyclists, like just down the way, like, I don't know, taking an extra water or eating some carbs. I don't know what they like to do. But we just met this guy and we were just about to flip out a cigarette as well. And then the three of us just started laughing like we were some renegade group, It was brilliant. But they really are like that, these other cyclists. We'll stop off at the beer shop before we go and find a place to camp in a farmer's field.
Yeah.
And then we'll find a place to lay. And then just get out the beers and probably not talk about cycling.
Yeah. Well, this is a common thing, even, so if you're traveling solo even, like I am, you're still in groups all the time, right? You're never really alone. So I'll be traveling by myself, but every city I meet a new group of people. And maybe I'll even travel with that group of people to multiple cities together. And then at some point we all part ways for our various reasons. But it's always constantly changing, moving. But you meet so many wonderful people. And it's weird. I came on this trip alone, but the best part about it is the relationships. It sounds kind of counterintuitive because I went alone, but the most rewarding part was relationships. But by going alone, I'm forced to make all these new relationships, meet people that give me perspectives that I couldn't have ever thought of before. Case in point, I met you. And all of a sudden now my brain's been churning these past few days and wow, there are all these ways that I can make it work. I don't have to go and get a job necessarily, or even for that matter, I've been talking on this podcast even about, I want to eventually be an entrepreneur. I don't even have to start a business. I can just make articles, sell articles. I can make art. I can write music. There's so many ways to just do what I love, and then I can find revenue sources from that.
Yeah.
And so I meet people like you, and that inspires me, and it just keeps happening. And it's a back and forth thing. Boom, 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 boom.
It's always a changing market at that one, man. I enjoy having actually a lot of little different jobs as well.
Yeah.
Just like kind of manual easy jobs, working in a bar or working in a coffee shop or
I think those are fun experiences too.
Keep in. It's a funny aspect when you write like fiction, because it's kind of a bit snoopy, I suppose. You start listening into people's conversations just for like random dialogue. Or like on a bus, you sit behind two old ladies talking away, and you're like, yeah, this would be brilliant.
Well, you need that random input for creativity, right?
Yeah, but like it makes it real.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so.
It makes it more genuine, more real, and anything creative you do is just taking two old ideas and combining them into a new idea. Mm-hmm. So by meeting new people from new perspectives or trying a new thing out, listening to some random conversation, these are all, just like doing improv comedy. Before you start a scene, you say, hey, audience, give us a random word, and they say watermelon. And now you make a scene, maybe not about watermelons, but that makes you think about juice, and then you drink the juice, and that hydrates you, so now it's a scene about water, whatever.
And a lot of the suggestions are elephant, so...
Yeah.
Really?
Just the word elephant or zebra or unicorn.
Exactly.
Is very common. But I wanted to say that, just by even talking to, Tom, if you're ever in New York, you got a place to stay, Mike, you as well. So.
Oh, thank you.
If I have to let you stay, you can.
Yeah.
Just get rid of the beard first, right?
Yeah.
No beard, no stay. No beard, you can stay.
Yeah, I gotta groom myself, I guess.
Man, I was actually thinking of trying to.
I trimmed the beard actually. I didn't even see me recently, but I actually got it trimmed. I had it really crazy wild, but I trimmed it. I look a lot cleaner now.
I want mutton chops. I want you to have mutton chops.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Mutton chops.
Or mustache. Just keep a little mustache there.
We'll see. I mean, everything's changed. I like to change it up a little bit.
We've still got to do mustaches. We're doing Christmas on the beach with some people that we met from Georgia as well, like this amazing Egyptian movie director.
What?
We met him in this dirty hostel in Georgia.
This is what I love about traveling. The kind of like random people that you meet.
That you do meet, yeah. But I mean, he's shown some of his work at the Cannes Film Festival for the Arabic section.
Oh my gosh,
so he's done really, really well. So he's bringing some stuff over as well this time. We've got a Polish film student coming across as well, Kuba. He's absolutely great guy. Some really interesting tattoos. Yeah, we're going to meet them all up for Christmas down in Culver, I think. And then we've got another guy, French guy, who is your typical Frenchman, but totally robust, really cool dude. I mean, we're all coming together as a group. They're all coming across to India.
Wow.
Like two of them in Iran already, but like... the Egyptian Anwar.
The reunions are so much fun, right? You meet a group of travelers and then you meet up again.
Yeah, but we met in summer.
I think I'm gonna have a
3 months.
I'm gonna have a Christmas reunion, I think, also, and I'm so looking forward to it.
Oh, we've got to get Hawaiian shirts for Arambol. Oh Lord!
I've got a couple extra ones I can ship out if you guys need them.
Yeah, send them our way.
Oh, I found some dirty ones down in the south coast there. Yeah.
Oh man, it'll probably be cheaper to buy them than for you to ship them. Actually.
Yeah, probably.
That's the thing.
I wanted to know, so Tom, you've got your journey that you're going on for a good cause. You're helping people out. Where are you? What's your destination? What's your route? And
so I've finished now. I've actually got rid of the bike. We cycled. The original plan was to cycle from Harrogate in Yorkshire to New Delhi. Mm-hmm. And the original route kind of stayed roughly the same. We didn't want to have anything really set so that we could kind of change direction. If somebody says, oh, you have to go and see this, we were under no kind of set circumstance to get to India for a certain date. And this is what a lot of newspaper people back at home couldn't really understand. How long is it going to take you? How long? We're like, we don't know. It'll take as long as it takes. We're under no time constraints here, apart from money. That kind of dictates whatever.
And that's even like every day in India, where you move into a new guest house in Goa, and the first question I ask you is, how many days are you staying?
Yeah,
and I can't answer that question for you, man. I just got here. Maybe I love it so much I stay for 2 weeks. Maybe I hate it and I want to leave tomorrow. You can't ask me how many days. I'm a backpacker.
Yeah. But with the cycling, we ended up coming across the north of Germany, down the Elbe Valley into the Czech Republic, and cycling into Prague, which was one of the most beautiful cities I've ever cycled into. That was stunning. Working our way down towards Belgrade in Serbia. This is where we got into kind of like a pickle. and we said like half of us wanted to go towards the coast, towards Croatia. The other side, we're probably drunk when we're deciding this again, wanted to go down towards Kosovo.
You had fighting factions.
Yeah, and then
drunk
into Greece.
fighting.
The other side was straight to Sofia in Bulgaria and like get around. So we just spun a bottle. It went to Sofia, so off we went. And then into Turkey, but then the original idea...
That's a great way to make decisions. I flip coins nowadays.
Like, it keeps it... Oh, sorry.
Whenever I have like a decision where I'm 50-50 on, I started doing this thing where I flip a coin and decide whatever the coin says I do.
It keeps it spontaneous as well, like... But yeah, we really, really, really wanted to go to Kazakhstan. And I've still got this like itching urge to go to like Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, like for so many years, and that's where we were going. But the like Azerbaijani embassy in...
But the bottle said otherwise?
No, this is our frustration because like there's an Azerbaijani like consulate in one city in Georgia and also an embassy. We got told to go to this one in a smaller city called Batumi because the guy is very like easy. He will just, give you it within a few days and you have to pay like this base amount. The one in Tbilisi, they were like, oh my lord, they were just changing their prices every day, like building up the money, and it was so aggravating. We wanted just a transit visa for like 5 days because it's quite an expensive country, and they wouldn't give us it. And we'd heard from so many cyclists coming the other direction, like, yeah, we got the like 10-day or the 5-day transit visa, and they were like, no, this doesn't exist. You need to pay for 30-day visa at this price.
Those are fun surprises to run into.
Well,
right?
So we just told them to F off.
Yeah.
Looked at going around through Russia into Kazakhstan. That was a no-no. Looking at flights, kind of taking the cheese out of it. So we said, no, let's look into the visa for Iran. And then we were in Georgia for at least another month because of this. Like, just to get a visa, just to get a piece of paper that says you can go into a country for 1 month, cost us £200 each.
God.
And we had to kind of like give the guy at the embassy another €30 when we received it.
What, it's like a bribe?
Yeah, it was pretty much a bribe.
That's
it's like, how can the price go up by €30 each in 3 days? Like, man, screw you.
Yeah.
But we wanted to go. We wanted to leave Georgia in one way because we'd been there for 3 months and like static.
Yeah.
Everything happened there though. Like, right at the beginning of our time, when we got very drunk with an American English teacher and then cycled up the coast. Not well drunk, which is kind of hard actually in Georgia. You kind of get drunk a lot of the time. But we were going to a place called Abkhazia, where like Stalin used to have his summer house. Meant to be so beautiful. You have the Black Sea coastline coming up, and then right off the beach you have these huge mountains where like base jumpers go to have a look, like see if they can do some stuff there. But it's when the Russians came over into Georgia, like in 2008, they were like helping out this Abkhazian movement. They're just kind of like people that want to be their own country, really. They recognise themselves, and there's like 3 other countries, including Russia, that do, but Georgia don't. So there's not an official border. So we were trying to get up there.
That's a weird thing about these parts of the world is there's all kinds of regions that are like kind of like their own country, but they're kind of not, depending on who you ask. Look at Tibet or Hong Kong, and there's all these weird places, or Kashmir. There's all these regions that are under dispute, and it's not. We think in the U.S. of countries as defined. Borders, there's a border and there's a definition. This is the U.S. This is Britain, but in a lot of parts of the world, it's not like that. There's areas that are under conflict, under dispute, and it's not really that clear.
Yeah, I think this comes through from a lot of the whole communist bloc as well, though.
Yeah.
Because, like Abkhazia, like I was saying, is Georgians can't get in. But, there's, like, areas in China. There's areas all along the south of Russia, which is totally, like, Chechnya and stuff. They want to be their own countries, but you're just never going to have this. So.
Yeah. Well, the world's always been changing. Yeah. Hey, I think we've been going
quite
on.
Long,
yeah. Now, this is good stuff, though. I really like this one. Let's wrap it up, yeah?
Yeah, I wanted to ask, maybe a couple of closing questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
So you've been traveling with your organization. You just completed your journey. You're
with an organization or just kind of?
Well, we're doing it for the charities. Yeah.
Oh, for the charity, right. Yeah.
You're doing it for the charities, and you just wrapped up formally with your formal journey. Where to next, and do you ever see settling down somewhere? This is a funny thing I've been thinking about, actually. Like,
I'm actually looking at cutting my Indian time short. We're going to spend Christmas and New Year on the beach, and then another free kind of form of helping volunteering is called HelpX, helpx.net.
You were telling me about that. It sounded really cool.
You pay like $20 for 2 years, and you can go and work on people's farms or paint their houses. They basically post for help, and in return they give you free board and free food. So we thought about doing something just for 2 weeks, and then finding a surf school or a surf spot on the beach just for like a little while longer before heading back to Mumbai and flying home. Which is, I'm going to just stick at home for a few months before I go back to Holland. But I'm looking at doing some more actual studies, and I'm wondering whether to do it on the Open University so I can actually travel with my studies, or doing something at the University of Amsterdam, which will then actually keep me in one spot. I actually think that city now is like my spot. I found the great people, I found a great place. Yeah, I love it there. But it's a hard question to answer, actually, Justin. Yeah, I don't know.
You can't predict that.
I think a good woman is going to have to keep me in one spot, man.
Yeah. Yeah, meeting a girl that'll change everything.
But
right?
if she's that good, she'll want to travel with me as well.
That's true. That's what I realized. Is like I can talk all this stuff about I want to keep traveling, but I realize at the moment, like the right girl comes to my life, all plans are off.
Don't move now. You're 3 months in, dude.
Yeah. That's really. It's so funny to realize at the end of the day, like, there's one thing that can sway me more than anything else.
Work on them numbers, man.
It's weird, isn't it? Like even if I met the right girl, I would probably move a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Where I think that binds us all men and all people.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
We know that the women are the boss.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
Definitely. You don't hear that over here, though. Oh no.
So that's great. Right now, you said you're not involved. You were involved with somebody, but not formally. It kind of.
Oh yeah, it just kind of fell apart, and I wasn't too bothered with it. Really,
and life has changed, right? Things come, things go, and it's just roll with the tides.
Some people think about those too long, and cycling really does give you the time to think about those things. You can go a bit mental while you're on the bike. Like, we were singing songs at the top of our lungs that we hadn't sang for or even thought about for years. Like stupid songs from adverts and stuff that you wouldn't even normally sing, and they just come into your head. Conversation goes from politics to porn in 20 seconds. It's just like the weirdest thing, and you're in the strangest surroundings. God, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like it's served vodka by babushka, like an old granny in the woods at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You got to cycle. No, babushka, stop.
Babushka, Baba Yaga. That's a children's book. Grandmother of the Forest.
All right. Well, Justin, if you don't have any other closing questions, I'd say we'll wrap this episode up, yeah?
Yeah. Just wanted to ask for you to plug whatever you wanted to plug. Saddle Sore, what was the full?
Yeah, please do.
So it's saddlesore.moonfruit, as in the moon up in the sky, and the fruit that we eat, moonfruit.com. On there you can find the links to our Just Giving pages. So if people do want to donate any money to these worthy charities, then you can find the links to basically get onto there. You can find more information about our sponsors, which is like a holistics company and also a bar that we used to work for who host our events. Yeah. There's blogs on there, there's other articles, and we're also working on a new section at the moment to do with portfolios of travellers, cyclists, different form of travelling as well. So kind of trying to educate people. So I mean, the website's blogs are kind of sometimes longer pieces, sometimes short little snippets. Yeah, there's bits and bobs, and they're not really checked. They're just very quickly written and thrown out there. My friend thinks it's a bit flowery, but go with it. Have a little read.
It's a great way to go, man.
Yeah.
So it's saddlesore.moonfruit.com. Saddlesore.moonfruit.com.
Yeah, and there's some videos actually up there too from a GoPro, just with some music and stuff. But yeah,
awesome.
Check it out. Yeah, and write to us if you've got any messages as well. So
excellent.
All right. Well, that sounds great. Tom, Mike, I wish you safe journeys, and we'll catch up with you very soon.
I would wish you a safe journey too, and I'll give you a virtual handshake, my man. So
thank you. Everyone, thanks for tuning in to Walking the Earth podcast. We'll catch up with you next time.